He'd been dead maybe 5 minutes. Whatever it was abrupt and acute.
What's your guess? Massive coronary or cerebral hemorrhage?
His wife says he was bitten by a spider just before he seized.
And that's a good thing because we want these spiders to be healthy because we're going to use spider webbing to make some new iPhone cases if you can help them figure out how to get the most webbing out of these spiders. So we're looking at these different spiders, spiders 1 through all the way down, I guess 160 spiders, how much thread count they gave in a particular day, what the temperature was, the diet of what the spiders were fed. We also have the amount of thread produced when the spiders were left listening to rock music, which apparently was an accident, but we're still interested. If we have this data, let's look at it. So it's called Apple Spiders because the Apple company is going to use spiders to make new iPhone cases that are supposed to be stronger. And the goals are 4 different questions. 1 is test the music. Does it matter? Now looking at the data, I want you to notice that we're not really using spider. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's just like the row. But this should convey to you the idea that spider 1, here's how much thread it was, and here's also spider 1, how much thread produced in rock music. So testing rock music against the non-rock music means you need a particular test, and part of the requirements of this assignment is for you to figure out which test it is so that you can get the correct p-value. After you've looked at that, then we're not going to use this thread rock side anymore, so we're going to ignore the rock music. Back here it says, in a quiet environment, does temperature depend on the diet? Does it matter? How can we predict how much we're getting? And show that it works by actually doing a prediction here and saying how much thread count you're predicting that spider should be able to give. What do you need? Normal report stuff. And here for the intro, it's not about predicting spider thread count. Who cares about that? We're talking about iPhones, so make it sound like there's value for it. Test for rock music with a p-value. You have to use the correct statistical test. I'm not going to tell you which one, but there is in the rubric something about matched pairs for 3 points. Check the assumptions. It's different when you're testing means versus when you're looking at regression. Here, test for diet. Look for the differences in slopes. Right here's a clue that the p-value for fire ants might be large. If it's large, that means not significant. If it's not significant, there's a temptation to say fire ants have no effect on temperature. That's not what it means. If you're confused, go back to the videos or ask. But fire ants do have an effect based off temperature and thread count. That large p-value does not mean there's no effect. You should have a plot. It just makes sense with a report like this. R squared, S, justify. And when you do your prediction equations, there's several ways you could do it. You could have one giant prediction equation. I'm going to ask you to split it into 4. That's what the client wants. Along with a specific prediction, you should be able to get the correct value. And I'll give you a hint. Look at the plots. It should make sense that that's a reasonable value. If you're getting, 5 million, that should be a clue that something is wrong. Don't copy and paste output. And we have a conclusion and discuss some ideas for future research. This is the kind of report where you might still be getting low scores. That's okay. There's still time to kind of figure out the right way to do these things. But hopefully some things, like talking about R squared or mentioning the residuals, are going a little bit better.